A Thanksgiving werewolf story. Dear Scary Stories NYC. This year I've traveled back to Appalachia to visit my mother and family for Thanksgiving. I've been living in Maine for over a decade, where I recently became engaged to a woman just before Halloween. I had hoped she might come to meet my family for the holidays this year, but my mother objected, and so we have each traveled to our respective families instead. My mother has taken over much of my time since I've arrived, reminding me of our bizarre old family legends. I told her I had forgotten about them, but how could a person forget that his mother thinks that werewolf blood runs in our family? The thing is, she also told me that if I lived to be 30 without becoming a werewolf, then it would never happen to me. I don't think I ever really believed Mom's stories, but I'm 32 years old now, so it shouldn't matter anymore either way, right? But Mom isn't concerned about me. She's worried about the next generation. Just because I'm never going to be a werewolf doesn't mean I might not father one, according to my mother's logic. And she feels it would be wrong for me to marry a woman without telling her that she might give birth to a werewolf if she becomes my wife. Personally, I think my mom needs to stop reading so many gothic romance novels, but it's not like she made the legends of our family up. It goes back 6 greats to my great-great-great-great-great-great-granduncle Silas, who was the tallest man in all of Appalachia according to legend. Besides being tall and strong, Silas owned a house he built himself, and it was rumored that he had a huge stash of gold hidden somewhere in that house. For some reason, Silas had never married though. If he didn't have any children, then our family line would have died out, and I would have never been born to tell you this story. So we need to get Silas shacking up with a lady. He's already getting old here, as you can see. So along came Lulubelle, a perky young lady who was looking for a husband. She had taken up the habit of wandering over to old Silas's place and making fun of the giant old man to his face. Lulubelle taunted him for living alone, and teased him about whether he was even man enough to catch up to her if she ran away. Each time she would run off, my ancestor would grumble, but he would let her go. Then once around Thanksgiving time, or maybe it was around the full moon, Lulubelle went to visit big old Uncle Silas and started making fun of him all over again, saying he didn't know how to cook or clean. I don't know if it was something Lulubelle said, or the phases of the moon, or maybe just his bad mood. But this time when Lulubelle ran off, Silas ran after her, growling and stomping. They ran across hill and they ran across dale. Lulubelle was running at her fastest pace, laughing and giggling the entire way. Uncle Silas, on the other hand, was just sort of pacing the girl, keeping up with her. It took 3 of Lulubelle's running leaps to make one step from Uncle Silas, so it wasn't like he really needed to rush to keep up with her. The girl kept shouting teasing things at Uncle Silas as she ran away from him. Soon Uncle Silas's anger boiled over, and he began to change. His outside started to look as mad and unhappy as his inside was feeling. Uncle Silas grew fur, and he started to become some kind of a big walking wolfman monster. Lulubelle knew that it wasn't too much further until they reached her mother's house in the woods, and she was too excited to look behind herself anymore. She could hear that big monster of a man crashing along behind her, but she had no idea that Uncle Silas's inner monster was manifesting into this reality just 20 or 30 feet behind her. In fact, Great Uncle Silas kept changing until he really was some kind of an upright walking canine humanoid werewolf type wolfman creature man. And a big one too. Much bigger than your average wolfman, according to the way my mother tells the story. In spite of his immense size, both women greeted my werewolf uncle with kindness, inviting him in to share a bountiful feast they had prepared for him. Everything on the table smelled wonderful, and Uncle Silas greedily devoured all of it. Then, when he was done with their meal, Uncle Silas ate Lulubelle and her mother, too. Oh, I'm sorry, you thought Uncle Silas married Lulubelle? I said we got werewolfism in our blood. I didn't say nothing about any blonde hair running in my family. But it was on the way walking home from that feast that great Uncle Silas first ran into my great aunt, Maisie. Maisie wasn't good at cooking. She wasn't good at cleaning. She wasn't good at speaking. She wasn't good at thinking. But she was good at having kids for my Uncle Silas, and so she became the matriarch for about a dozen families, going off in various directions, all across the United States. And of course, at least according to my mom, a lot of those descendants were werewolves of one sort or another. Some were in control of their problem and others were controlled by it. Some tried to use it to their benefit, but few really could in the end. To me, these are just family legends. If we had an attic chest full of Muybridge photos of werewolf transformations, then I guess I would believe, but without proof, these just sound like family legends or exaggerations to me. Still, I guess I should pass the story on to my fiancée, right? Even if she interprets it as a sign of insanity running on my mother's side of the family, right? Then again, if my fiancée believes in werewolves, this could be a deal breaker in terms of our marriage and future together. Still, if I don't tell her, my mother eventually will. I don't suppose I have a choice. So I'd better focus on the best way to tell her, or the way that I hope will be the least upsetting to her. This could all be a blip, but then again, in either case, I hope you're able to be with your loved ones this Thanksgiving, whether they be werewolf or human. Happy holidays, everyone. She's as sweet as a Coca-Cola. Today's EP, Deborah Areola. Please join me in thanking today's executive producer, Deborah Areola, for making this episode possible. Deborah is a member of our PayPal subscribers club, which means she gets special perks, and so can you, if you listen to the words of our international TV spokesmongrel, Henry Lee Dogman. Hank.
Thanks, Biggie, and thanks to all of you for watching this far. If you liked it, please click like. If you'd like to see more of our work, please subscribe. And also click that bell icon if you'd like to be notified when we put out a new episode. To become an executive producer, you can donate to us through the thanks button under each of our videos or through our paypal.me/PeterBernard209 page. To receive cool perks like secret uncensored Dogman episodes far too wild to ever run on this channel, you can become a YouTube channel member by clicking the join button, or join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. Joining either at the $3 a month level or above gets you access to our over 25 hours of secret uncensored Dogman stories available nowhere else. Do you have a scary story about Dogman or some other kind of high strangeness that happened to you? Let us know by emailing us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or by leaving us a voicemail message at 804-LA-SCARY. You may need to call back on that one. It cuts off after I think 3 minutes. And if you don't want to do any of that stuff, thank you for simply watching to the end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
Come back for more scary stories.